Hi, everyone, and welcome to this session on learning and development needs identification. For the details of the case study, the defined statement, please see the earlier video. The link for the same is given below in the description box in case you don't get it. Now, what is the data that we have? We have data about the different job roles, right, of two departments, which is admin and finance. And here you will notice that you have details about pay grade, education level, experience, um, the organizational competencies, customer centricity, time adherence, and inductive reasoning, the department competencies, and then you have the individual competencies. So all of these are available in this first data set, which is the job class information. And then you have the individual person level data of the employee ID. And for the employee or ID, you have various informations which are available. The of course the job description, job family, etc. But also you get the scores for the different programs that the people have attended, the employees have attended on the learning management system. So with this data, let's start with solving the problem. The process remains the DECOVA and I process, and the methodology or the tool that we are using is Excel, as you can see. And we start off like in when you look at defining the business problem. So yes, I've created a summary sheet and I'm putting down my process here. So the problem statement is, can a training need analysis be done to decide which areas and subjects should be covered for these two departments? So for different people who are in the accounts department and the admin department, right? Now, when we look at collecting the data, we have been given two data files, and all we also know that when you look at the data file, especially the one on the LMS data, this is the data of the mandatory digital programs on the LMS for competencies that are important for the organizations, departments, and roles. The scores of this exercise is available on the LMS. And here, the first data set, which is on the job class information, this is the data about the job class and the competencies mapped to the job class of these two departments. So with this, we create the combined data, which is done by creating a VLOOKUP, formula. So how this goes is like here you can see that this is the employee ID, and into this employee ID, we have the LMS data has been added in, which is on the organizational customer centricity, time adherence, inductive reasoning, etc. Right? So this is the LMS data, and into this LMS data has been added the job family, job class, etc. And how did this happen? It happened because the job family is already there in the LMS data, and we can just do a VLOOKUP, right, with the job family data to get the information of the LMS mapped out here. Okay, so the first thing to do was to get a list of all the employees. Then you had their job families, job description. Here you can see it. Right. So you had employee, job family, job description, job class, right? So all this information was available here, and you have these scores, right? So this set of information was taken and put into a new sheet, and then there was a VLOOKUP done so that by the job family, job grade, etc., these informations could be mapped out. From which one place? The job class. How does a VLOOKUP work? It works very simply like this. If I have to do, say, a VLOOKUP here from the job family, this is just for demonstration purposes. So I'm just taking this column, and if I want to do a VLOOKUP, I do is equal to, I can go to the formula bar and here say insert function and say here VLOOKUP. So this is actually the easiest way to do anything. Go up here and look it up. If you say is equal to, and lookup value. So this is the job family. What do I want to look at? Sorry, this went. So what do I want to look at? I want to actually, I'll just insert it. I want to look up the job family. Where do I want to look up? In which table? I want to look up in the job, you know, say I want to look up in the job class info table. What index am I trying to see? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I want the sixth column information. So what index? Sixth column. And do I want it to be true or false? That means approximate match or absolute match. Here you can see true is omitted, exact match is false. So I can write true or I can write false. Okay. And if I write it, so here, and I just click it out here, you get the pay grade here. So this is the methodology to do the VLOOKUP. So this means you do combine the data, right? You combine the data and get all the data together. Now, when you look at organizing the data, this is what we do. In organizing the data in this combined data tool, which is a copy paste of the data from the combined data, we look at doing the missing values. We look at doing the outliers, dummy variables, and the derived variables. So these are basically the steps we do under the organizing part. Okay. So what are the things that we look at? We look at the missing values first. So let's go here and look at the missing values, like how many data points are missing in which column. Okay. And for this, if you might remember, we had last time also looked at a very simple way to understand it. If we go to formulas and if we do count. Okay. So we can either count the number of cells that contain numbers, but what is to be counted is count blank, because that tells you how many of the cells are blank. Okay. So I will just go here and look up how many cells are blank, and up you go. So you actually see that, you can just drag it across. And you can see that there is no blank values over there, but here you can see there are some blank values. Okay, so are these troublesome values? And the answer is no, these are not troublesome values, because department level competencies and individual competencies will only be available where they are applicable, right? So some of the places these won't be applicable, so they are not available. But if there were missing values in organization level competencies, we should have to worry. Again, I will just tell you, if you want to understand more about these organizational, departmental, and individual competencies, feel free to reach out to Ruben or to take a copy of the book, where in the very beginning of the chapter, these parts have been explained adequately. Okay. Then we look at outliers. So do we have any unusual values? And the answer should be no, because these are all values of the people in these particular departments. Look at dummy values. You remember we had spoken about it in the last case study. Dummy values is the 0, 1 variables which we create for character variables. Okay, we created, but here what we find is all the scores are numerics, right? And we do not need to convert some of the non-numeric values, which are department and job roles, etc., into numeric, simply because they are not there. That's not what we are going to cover, right? That's not what we need for this case study. We actually just need the values related to the different competencies and the scores thereof. Okay, so in a nutshell, all the columns which we need for our analysis, that definitely is available in numeric form. Then there are derived variables, right, that we can do. We have the PG numeric. We can put in the level of education, overall average score we can put. Now, why would when we are doing the level of education, why would we convert it to 1, 2, 3, 4? Because we know that 12th class is less than a graduation, which is less than a post graduation. So it is an ordinal variable. Overall average score, which is the sum of all the scores across the competencies, organizational score, department score, and individual scores, which are calculated for the competencies of the organizational, department, and individual levels. Okay, so this is what has been done here. You can see we have just summed it up. So here, these are just the sums. You can see the organizational score is an average of all the organizational competency. The department score is an average of all the department competencies, and the individual scores are the average of all the individual competencies. I mean, if you want to see again how to input the average, of course, if you know Excel, you know you can just do it by putting in a formula. But if you don't know Excel so well, just go here to the insert function, and if you put in average, you will see that this formula comes up, and you can then give the list from where you want to pick up. Right? So that's how simple Excel makes it so simple to do this part. Now I'll take a break here, and we'll continue with the visualization and the analytics in the next video, so that this video is not too long. So I'll see you in part 3.